The fate of the hostages held by Hamas may rest with the decisions of one man, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Since the start of the war, he has been clear that destroying Hamas and rescuing the 200-plus hostages were his top priorities. But as the war advances, the dynamics of those goals, they've also shifted, and now he is facing immense pressure to stop the fighting. Joining me now is Tal Heinrich, spokesperson for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Thank you for being with us, Tal. First of all, I want to ask you, are we getting closer to a ceasefire or pause? Because it seems like for the last couple of days, there's been reports, they've been walked back. President Biden was talking about it today. Where do things stand now, Tal?
Well, Brian, we said it very clearly that the only scenario in which we will consider some kind of a ceasefire is if and when we see the release of all hostages. We want to see the release of hostages. I heard your reporter just a moment ago talking about talks happening behind the scenes. It's not something that we can expand on. But what I can tell you is that if a deal is closed, and we're not so sure that it is, we certainly hope that it is, it will only be due to the major military pressure that we're exerting on Hamas, combined with diplomatic pressure behind the scenes. Again, we cannot expand on the nature of such talks. I'm sure you can understand. The less we talk about it, the greater the chances are that these talks will actually yield something. We hope to see all hostages back home with their families. These are 240 families, Brian, that have been going through a torture of mind and soul for 45 days, and we want to see them reuniting with their loved ones. Some of them also lost loved ones on October 7th, the massacre that Hamas waged on us, and it is our moral duty to make sure that they see their loved ones back and also to guarantee the dismantlement of Hamas.
Yeah, we've been interviewing the families of the hostages, and I just feel for them. I think of what they're going through when these reports come out, the hope that they must have. But I just think about this, though. I mean, this is a war. You talk about a ceasefire. How does that work if there is a ceasefire? I mean, doesn't that just give Hamas the chance to regroup? Isn't that just a gift to Hamas in many ways?
So we make distinctions between different kinds of ceasefire. We were talking here about is a temporary ceasefire if such a deal materializes. Nobody's talking about a larger overall ceasefire that would end this war, because we said that one of the goals is the dismantlement of Hamas. The Israeli nation has took this decision, Brian, that we will no longer live next to a terrorist enclave, and we will no longer tolerate this reality in which tens of thousands of rockets are raining on our cities. Just today, by the way, I think this aspect is sometimes a bit overlooked in reporting in the international media. There was another major barrage of missiles towards central Israel, and around 2 million people had to evacuate and run to shelters. So we will only have a temporary ceasefire, and any kind of other ceasefire, a larger aspect of a ceasefire is we're talking about an end to this war, and this will only happen after Hamas's rule in Gaza is eliminated, and once we guarantee that terrorism will no longer emanate from this territory ever again.
Last time you were on this show, Tal, you were coming to us from Israel. Right now, you're in New York City. You've been talking to people here. You've been talking to politicians here. What is it like to be in the United States, especially during a time where there are a lot of people who don't support Israel, which I think comes as a shock to many of us? I mean, in New York City, we see the marches, the pro-Palestine, the anti-Israel marches. How does that feel?
I will say this, Brian, I think that these people marching against Israel are not only anti-Israel, I think that they're not even helping the Palestinian people. They might think that they do, but what they're doing, in fact, is serving as Hamas apologists. I don't see the signs condemning Hamas. I don't see the signs in these protests calling for the release of hostages to bring to a cessation of military activity in the Gaza Strip. So these people are serving as apologists for Hamas. Sometimes they spew their anti-Semitism outright in chants like globalize the Intifada, calling for, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, calling for the genocide of the Jewish people and so on. And sometimes they hide behind Western terminology that might be trendy, but we know anti-Semitism when we see it. They're not helping the Palestinian people if they're not speaking out against Hamas. And they think that Israel will take the fire for Hamas's double war crime, shooting at our our civilians from within their own civilians. But that is just playing into Hamas's strategy.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.